Hey, how's everybody doing? It's Craig here again. Been quite a while. Couple, 2 or 3 weeks anyway. Start off with something to show you. I'll show you this here in just a second. Whoop! Just kicked the camera. Sorry about that. Just picked this up today. Still BG55. Missing a few pieces. Not locked up. Actually, it's got some compression to it. So I don't know what the deal is, but that'll be another project in a later day. Might even turn out to be a parts blower, I don't know. But what we're looking at right here, you remember a few weeks back I had the Huztl 365, 371 clone from Huztl, from Farmertec. I had the oil pump issue where this part of the oil pump actually broke off and this adjusting screw backed out and it let the plunger fall backwards and then it pumped all the oil down in this area. So I got the oil pump, figured out what it was, got the oil pump, put it back together, was using it, and I don't know, probably ran it 15 minutes or so, and was doing some blocking some firewood up. Actually, this saw runs a 24-inch bar, and set it down, and the idle was going erratic. It was going high, it was going low. Sometimes it would die. Sometimes it wouldn't take gas. And I kept trying to adjust the carb and couldn't seem to get it out of it. And then I thought, no, stop right now. Just shut it off. So I brought it in. I blocked everything off and done a pressure vacuum leak. And what I found was right here. Let me zoom in here, see if we can get you in here. Right in this area. This is the sleeve. Let me zoom you back out just a little. This is the sleeve that goes down over the crankshaft in through the radial seal that sets into the crankcase, and there's a little rubber O-ring. See that little rubber O-ring right there? That little rubber O-ring actually sets down over the crankshaft. Just like that. And then this sleeve with the big end, there's a little step right there. Don't know if you can see it, but believe me, there's a little step there where it's kind of discolored. That end goes down in, and that's where the radial seal rides on that to seal the crankcase to the crankshaft. But this little rubber O-ring right here actually seals the sleeve to the crankshaft. So if you're building one of these kits from Huztl, or from Farmertec rather, I don't know if they're including this little rubber O-ring now, but when I bought this kit back in the earlier days, they did not supply them. If you do not have this in here, you'll have a tremendous vacuum leak between this sleeve and the crankshaft. So that brings me to what's going on. I done the pressure vacuum test after I blocked everything off and got my Midi-Vac hooked up, and it's actually leaking. Trying to get this centered in the camera here. It's actually leaking from the inside of this sleeve up along the crankshaft. So I took this out, and the O-ring that was in there was actually tore. It was in 2 pieces. So I was able to get it dug out. The O-ring that I just showed you, I put in there, put it back together, tested it, still leaking. Still bubbling up around where the sleeve sets over the crankshaft. I didn't want to put any kind of sealer on the inside of this sleeve because it's got to come off if you have a radial seal issue. So my next thought was, well, heck, I'll just put a second O-ring on there. Maybe that'll seal it up. Well, that didn't help it either. Still leaked. Maybe not quite as bad, but it still leaked. Enough that it wouldn't hold pressure for probably about 15 seconds, and it was from 10 down to like 4 or 5 pounds in like 15 seconds. Wasn't even meeting the specs set forth in the service manual. So I got to messing with it, and I noticed, you can't see it, I'm sure you can't, but I noticed it has some side-to-side movement on the sleeve. So I thought, well, maybe something was down here on the face of the sleeve. So I took it apart. It looks like the little bevel in there is still in good shape. There's a little bevel on the inside here that O-ring actually seals up against as it's on the crankshaft. And that looks good. The inside looks good. So there's really no reason why this should be leaking at this point, other than maybe when I ran the saw with the oiler messed up. I mean, it was so hot that the chain was discolored, and the clutch drum, it didn't burn it, but let's see if we can show you. See the discoloration? That's where it actually burnt some crap onto the clutch drum itself. So it was hot down in there is what I'm getting at. And it was hot enough that it was actually smoking. So I tend to wonder now if maybe I didn't do something to this sleeve. So that brings me to today. I ordered some parts. I just got them. Here's the new sleeve. Part number 503-77901. And it's called a sleeve. So I'm going to measure the new OE sleeve compared to the Farmertec sleeve. And while I was at it, I also went on ahead and ordered some new little O-rings. This is the package the old one come out of. And that's part number 503-263-019. Same part number here. And it's called an O-ring. That's all they're calling it. I just want to make sure that the O-rings wasn't somehow messed up. You know, so bring this back out a little bit. I'm going to measure these two sleeves. So I've got my cheap Harbor Freight caliper here, and it'll be good enough for what I'm going to use it for. So we're going to measure the inside bore diameter. It's measuring, I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not, 15.02 is what it's measuring. So this is the new one, so I'll set it down there. We'll measure the Huztl Farmertec one. I don't know if you can see that, but 15.05. 0405, it's bouncing. So, and that's millimeters. Switch this back over to thousandths of an inch. That's 0.5920. .590. So that's almost 20 thousandths of an inch difference in thickness that the new one has over the old one. So here's the old one with the burn mark on it, or discoloration rather. The new one's all nice and clean. So I'm going to test fit this first. And as I'm putting that down through the radial sill, I'm actually turning it. That has very little movement compared to the other one. So I'm kind of hoping this is what the issue is. So I'm going to put in one of these new O-rings versus one of the used ones. I'll hang on to the used ones just in case. That's all it is. Real thin. It just sets down over the crank. And I'm just going to kind of use a little screwdriver here just to kind of push it down home, so to say. I'm not going hard on it, just kind of easy with it. I think that'll be good. Get just a little 3-in-1 oil here, and we're going to kind of slick up that sleeve just a little bit. Like I said, it's just right down here on the very bottom of it, because it only seals from that step down. Now you don't want to turn it against that O-ring too much, because you can actually cause that O-ring to walk out, so to say. You can actually cause it to grow and push out. So you don't want to mess with it too much. I push some oil out of the top there. This has got the tube that goes down in. I really not a fond lover of them tubes that go down into. I'd rather turn it up and get it out, but it is what it is. Okay. So that's down snug. I mean, now you'll put your clutch on there, and your clutch will spin down and actually seat against this sleeve, and it'll push that down, and that's what creates the pressure to actually seal that up. Now you're sealed on the outside of the case by the radial seal, and it's down below the lip there, so we're good there. And now we should be sealed to the inside with that little O-ring. So let's see where we stand with this. Get my mini vac here. I've already got this set up. Let me get rid of my calipers. Put them back away. I've still got the carburetor blocked off at the inlet of the intake boot, and I've got the muffler blocked off with just pieces of rubber. I've got the impulse hose pulled off, and we're just going to hook up to it. Okay. We'll pump this up to right about 10 pounds. Oh, it's leaking. Put a little pressure down on it. Right there is about 10 pounds, and I'm just holding down on that sleeve now. And it is not bleeding off. Before, it didn't matter how much I pushed down on that sleeve, it still leaked. It's leaking just a tad, so it's not leaking enough, it's going to fail it. I believe it's 3 pounds over 30 seconds. I'd have to get back in the service manual. But this right here, I'm not worried about. That's well within tolerance. So I'm going to call that a pass. So we're good to go now. So hopefully I can get this saw back up and running here in a little bit. So if you have, the basis of this video was that sleeve. And I don't even know what I've done with the old one now. But anyway, if you have a clutch issue, an oiler issue like I had that causes extreme heat build up around this sleeve, especially in the Farmertec clones, and you develop a vacuum leak and you can't get it to seal, here's the old one. I don't know if this is actually spun on the crank or what has happened to it, but for some reason the inside of this has opened up and it wouldn't allow it to seal good against that O-ring. So there's a tip for everybody. That's today's lesson. Don't let it get the best of you. Just keep plugging away at it and eventually you'll find the leak. Also on these, for those of you who don't know, the two mounting tap bolts for the oil pump, they're actually tapped clear through the case half into the crankcase. If you do not plug them two holes off somehow, you're not going to be able to pump any vacuum or pressure on either one, because that's just a direct opening. So you got to make sure you plug them off. I just put the two bolts right back in the holes when I take the oil pump out, then that blocks them off. I left the decomp valve in it. I just pulled it up and twisted it a couple times to make sure there's no carbon underneath of it. Made sure the spark plug was tight. Like I said, I put a piece of rubber between the muffler and cylinder and a piece of rubber between the carb and the inlet to the intake boot. And then I just used the pulse line to put vacuum into the crankcase to see if it leaked. So there you go. That's today's lesson. I get this thing back together. I'm not going to bore everybody. It's you all have done something like this. It's just straightforward. I get it back together and get it started. We'll do a couple little cuts with it and see how it runs. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. There it is. I've got it together. Just gassed up, oiled up, not started it. I don't know if y'all remember, but this saw usually takes several pulls to get started, sometimes 10, 12 or so. It's been like that since it was put together. I guess that's just how it is. Nothing I do seems to help it. So we're going to get it started. We're going to tune the carburetor. And I got a little bit of mulberry here. I'm just going to kind of block one little piece to see how she runs. Get on the adjuster screw. There. Turn it about 1/8 of a turn in. Turn the high end just a little bit. Going to idle it up just a hair also. running good. See if it restarts now. There we go. Oop, there it went. I'll get the tack out and I'll put the tack on it. This thing throws some pretty good noodles. There's some of the noodles this thing's throwing. Okay, I think that fixed it. So if you have the same issue as this one had, where you can't get it to idle, you can't get it adjusted, and you find your air leak around the sleeve for the crank seal underneath the clutch, go buy yourselves an OEM sleeve and replace it. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next one.